Right now, at 6, hundreds of volunteers join the search for a missing Oregon toddler in Lincoln County.
382 acres have been searched thus far, as well as 283 miles covered.
Plus, a push to cut red tape to build more housing in Oregon.
If we don't have more housing option and better affordability, our communities will not be able to thrive.
Why Republicans say the governor's plan is a start, but not enough. And
Lake Oswego High School, you are now a national banner school. Congratulations!
a day of celebration in Lake Oswego as a high school gets special recognition. Thanks for joining us here at 6. I'm Christine Pitawanich. We begin with the continuing search for a missing 2-year-old boy from Lincoln County. Police say 2-year-old Dane Paulson has been missing since Saturday. The family lives in Siletz off Highway 229, not far from the Siletz River. Dane was last seen playing at home in the yard Saturday afternoon. Searchers have set up a command post at a boat launch just across the river. Daisy Caballero has the latest.
2-year-old Dane Paulson is still missing. He's described as friendly and fearless and comfortable around strangers in water, with his house, according to Google Maps, less than 100 feet from the river. The small rural town of Siletz is coming together on day 3 of the search for the 2-year-old Dane Paulson, who went missing while playing in his front yard late Saturday afternoon. The Lincoln County Sheriff's Office declined an interview on Monday, but at a media briefing on Sunday said that
there is no evidence at this time to suggest that any criminal actions were involved in the incident.
Adding that the FBI is helping their major crime team investigate leads. Earlier in their investigation, the Sheriff's Office said a late 90s station wagon was a vehicle of interest in that it was seen in the area before Dane went missing. But now, investigators have found that person and their car, and they're no longer a person of interest. And as of Sunday,
382 acres have been searched thus far, as well as 283 miles covered.
With help from multiple agencies, including divers, canines, and drones with thermal imaging equipment, alongside over hundreds of community volunteers.
I'm thinking yesterday we had over 300 people here, and today we're pushing 200 now.
Jeff Lawrence is helping coordinate the search with volunteers. He says the community support and donations have been beyond what he has seen as a member of the Linn County Search and Rescue Team for 14 years prior, with volunteers traveling from across the Pacific Northwest.
People from Boise, we heard about it and we're on our way over. Castle Rock, I can't remember the name of the town up in Puget Sound, Port Orford.
As for why an Amber Alert wasn't issued, the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office says this disappearance doesn't meet the needed criteria to use an Amber Alert in Oregon.
Amber Alerts require specific information, including license plates, and at the time we did not have a direct link from the vehicle and the child being abducted.
The Lincoln County Sheriff's Office says Dane was last seen wearing a gray fuzzy hoodie with ears, black pants, and blue and white shoes. He has brown hair and green eyes.
That was Daisy Caballero reporting. In tonight's headlines, the man accused of killing an elderly woman and putting her body in a suitcase on Sauvie Island appeared in court for his arraignment. The body of 80-year-old Judy Hurley, also known as Judy Five Coats, was found 2 weeks ago along the Willamette. 54-year-old Michael Moody was arrested a few days later. He pleaded not guilty to murder and abuse of a corpse. 2 drivers were arrested for a street takeover on Marine Drive Friday night. Police say the 2 were racing and doing burnouts, then took off when officers showed up. One car was found nearby, but the other eventually crashed several miles away after running over spike strips. The drivers, a 17-year-old Portland girl and a 20-year-old man from Sandy, were arrested and their cars impounded. And more layoffs are coming to Oregon's troubled tech sector. Microchip Technologies announced it'll be laying off 2,000 workers at its plants in Gresham, Colorado, and the Philippines. Microchip employs around 900 people in Gresham. Early last year, the company announced an $800 million expansion plan to triple the output in Gresham. But that was scaled back due to a slumping microchip market. Furloughs soon followed, and in December, the company closed its Arizona facility to cut costs. And people in Western Washington were jolted awake by a magnitude 4.5 earthquake. It hit around 5 o'clock this morning near Orcas Island, west of Bellingham. Damage was minimal, mostly loose items crashing to the floor like these liquor bottles in Friday Harbor. Seismologists say this and other recent quakes don't necessarily mean a bigger quake is coming.
That likelihood is down at the level of sort of 10% and lower in the next week or month or so. It is not impossible, however, that a larger earthquake could follow it.
Today's quake is the strongest to hit the area since 2019. Matt?
Hey, Christine, thanks so much. We have some showers out of the Oregon coast. No big deal. Lincoln City, though, sun's gone down, still some light, 46 degrees. And out at the Dalles, see the clearing sky we had out there looking pretty good. Farther east, though, up in Wallowa County, I got this great picture over the weekend from Kevin Clock of the ice breaking up on Wallowa Lake, and we had the very warm weather on Saturday. So, paddleboarding right next to the ice floe in that beautiful turquoise color of Wallowa Lake up in Wallowa County in Northeast Oregon. Kind of fun to see that, right? Great shot. Okay, speaking of shots, we have to keep in mind that we go back to daylight saving time this weekend. So we'll be springing forward. We lose that hour of sleep as we go from Saturday into Sunday morning. So prepare for that. And prepare for showers tomorrow, but the week will end, and by end I mean Wednesday through Friday and Saturday with dry weather. But it looks like wet weather and some pretty decent mountain snow will return later next week. Christine?
Much, Matt. In Salem, this legislative session, housing remains a top priority on both sides of the aisle. The governor says a new bill will help build more homes by making the process faster and less expensive. Devin Haskins has the story from Salem.
Both sides agree that the housing crisis is a big issue for Oregonians. Governor Kotek wants her bill, House Bill 2138, to pass, which would open up the doors for more middle housing projects like duplexes and triplexes, which would create more housing opportunities. Republicans like the idea, say it's a start, but also say that it doesn't go far enough.
So we have a housing crisis.
It's the same issue Governor Kotek has fought to tackle since taking office in 2023. In this legislative session, she's pushing through House Bill 2138 that she says creates an easier path to building more homes.
The goal of House Bill 2138 is to build on the bold bipartisan policies already in place and continue to work on those to make Oregon a national leader in innovative housing policies that will bring down the cost of housing.
The bill focuses on what's called middle housing, duplexes, triplexes, and cottages, to include land just outside city limits near the urban growth boundary.
Generally, if we don't have more housing option and better affordability, our communities will not be able to thrive.
It would also cut down the so-called government red tape that can slow down the process and would provide incentives for builders.
If we can reduce the time from 1 year to 6 months just to get through what's really just pushing paperwork, that can save hundreds of thousands of dollars.
House Bill 2138 is a good start, and it does just what you're talking about.
Republicans contend the governor's bill doesn't do enough.
Republicans in this session have said we need land, we need infrastructure help, and we need to talk about lessening the regulations. Some of those things are answered in the governor's bill for middle housing, which is those multi-family house options that you talked about. We need to do all of that for single family as well.
Republicans are proposing several of their own bills to address the housing crisis. And in the remainder of this legislative session, Oregonians will continue to see housing as a big priority. The current session goes until June 29th. It would need to pass the House and the Senate before making its way to the governor's desk for her signature. In Salem, I'm Devin Haskins, KGW News.
Nationally, stocks tumbled today after President Trump said tariffs on Canada and Mexico would take effect starting tomorrow. The S&P dropped 1.8%, the Dow was down 1.5%, and the NASDAQ slumped 2.6%. Trump said there is no room left to negotiate over his 25% tariffs. This is part of a rocky few weeks on Wall Street, fueled by weaker than expected economic reports, including pessimism among Americans when it comes to tariffs and inflation. And a quick programming note to tell you about tomorrow. President Trump will be addressing Congress for the first time since taking office. Coverage begins at 6 o'clock right here on KGW and KGW+. And after the speech, we'll have a special edition of KGW News at 9 p.m. Also, do you recognize that music? Because today marks the start of the 22nd annual KGW Great Food Drive, which runs through the end of the month. You can help from home by making a cash donation online at kgw.com/food drive. And just so you know, a $10 donation can provide as many as 30 meals. This is also a really great week to give because Pacific Foods is matching the first $10,000 donated. A huge thank you to Pacific Office Automation, Rivermark Community Credit Union, local Toyota dealers, and Safeway for helping us make this year's drive a huge success. Coming up,